Hello, today I'll be going through the whole process of making an EOL witch farm. I'll be briefly going over update suppression in this video, but if you'd like to know more, you should check out my last video. I'll be covering how to light suppress the portals for the witch farm, and also be going over Skylight Suppression. There will be timestamps below if you don't want to hear the explanation, and just want to get straight into it, but I'd recommend you watch the whole video. Alright, let's get into this. Starting with update suppression. To update suppress, we cause a load of updates all in the same tick, which causes a stack overflow. I go into more detail in my last video, so I won't go too in depth, but basically we use this to create slice portals for the farm. So there are two types of portal layouts. One with the portal on the bottom on the top layer, and one with the portal on the top layer. With this one, you'll get pigment spawning because the obsidian's there. So you'll need to put eggs around your spawning platform. And with this one, it stops pigment from spawning because the portal is mid-air. However, this decreases the rate slightly because it increases the height map. And this one's slightly more difficult to build. This one's slightly easier to build. But honestly, it's just personal preference, whichever one. But I'll be showing how to build both of these in today's video, so you can choose whichever one you like. Now on to light suppression. This has been in the game since 1.14, when the lighting engine was moved to a different thread. This was done to prevent light updates causing lag. However, we can use this to our advantage by desyncing the lighting thread with the game thread. VK Tech made a wonderful video explaining exactly what that means and goes into way more detail, so you should go watch that video if you haven't already. It will make things easier to understand. Link in the description. This machine moves a bunch of blocks and it's pretty laggy on the client, so you'll probably want to build this far away from where you're actually making the farm. I have this in my spawn chunks, so it'll always be loaded. But you can also use alts or carpet bots to load it if you want. A very important note is when you're actually light suppressing, chunks will not load properly, so you must keep the area you're working in loaded, whether that's by chunk loading or using alts or bots. So if I come down here and hit this note block, you'll see that pistons start moving and you can see all these light updates. So the game struggles to keep up with all these light updates, and this is the basis of light suppression. Light suppression also really depends on your hardware and or mods. Higher end hardware might need more light suppressors and lower end hardware might need less. You should do lots of testing on your hardware before you actually start, because your results might be different from mine. And also mods like Light Batch, which is part of Carpet, can also heavily affect lighting suppression, so I'd recommend you turn stuff like that off or disable it before you start light suppressing. Alright, let's actually get into building the farms. So first you'll need your update suppressor. I will provide a world download in the description, so you can feel free to take a schematic for your own world. And this should be where the obsidian platform is, so you can align it. And this purple wall here is the witch hut bounding box, and they spawn in at foot level. The roof should be about 11 blocks from where you want the actual portal blocks to be, and that's the height that I found was most reliable for skylight suppression. I'll be covering this layout first, and then be going over this layout. And the timestamps will be below if you wanted to skip to whichever layout you preferred. So once you have built the update suppressor and the light suppressor, you are ready to go. You'll want to have a way to turn on your light suppressor. I have a carpet bot command, so this bot will be able to turn it on and off for me. And now we can head to the area where we are update suppressing. Alright, so now we can turn it on. Now the light suppressor is on, and I usually wait about 5 minutes, so I'll catch you guys in 5 minutes. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes, so we should be ready to do update suppression. You'll want to turn on your update suppressor, which I've already done, and then we should be ready to do the portals. This is exactly the same as last video, so if you want to know exactly how it works, you can go and watch my last video, which explains what is happening. And slice this portal. We don't need any of this obsidian up here. Break this one. Place it. Hit that lever. Slice it. And just use signs to get rid of these. And there we go. Get rid of that. And I'll do another portal just for demonstration. But it's just the same thing over and over again. So we build another portal frame. We extend this out by 1 block. Light the portal. Break it. Place a rail. Power that rail. Slice. Nice. And pick that. Power. And there we go. So here is our top layer. We give you 2. So after you finish this whole layer, or probably about half, you'll probably only be able to do half before the light engine starts catching up. So I'd recommend doing about half. Should take about 10 minutes max. If you got the hang of it, then you could do the next 10 minutes, then crash the server. But for demonstration purposes, I'll be moving on to the next layer. So this layer is a lot simpler, only need to slice once. So we can just move on, do that. Arrow, slice, and we don't need the bottom bit. And then we can just do this. There we go. Break that. And that's that. And once you finish this layer, you'll want to move the obsidian here, up a layer. So this is where the witches would spawn, and then you have enough space to do your portal below. I'll also demo that. So you can build your portal frame. Then there's steel. Break that. Power. Bottom bit. And then some space here. So we can place our signs. Break that. And same with yep. Then we can break that. So there is our portals. And now once you've finished, you can go ahead and crash the server. So you want to turn off auto mode. It's very important that you turn off auto mode. And then you can flick this lever. And then you'll get crash, stack overflow error. And that means it worked. So if I reboot the server really quick, meet you guys in a sec. So now that we've logged back on, you can see no chunks are loading. So we'll need to spawn our bot, and we can make him turn off the light suppressor. Player bot use. And in a second we should see, there we go, all the chunks load back up. And if we come over to our suppress portals, compress light overlay, and we can see that they're all light level 0. So that is how you do this. Now I'll be going on to the other portal layout. Alright, now I'll be doing the second portal layout. I have already had the light suppressor running for 5 minutes. And I think we are good to start doing the portal suppression. So first thing we should do is come over here and turn on the update suppressor. There we go. And now we can start building our portal. So start our portal, build a portal frame, light it, break this block, place a rail there, that, slice the portal, and we do not need these top blocks anymore. Get rid of that. And now we can use signs to get rid of this obsidian. And like that. Alright, and I'll do another one just for demonstration. Extend this out one line actually. There we go. There you go. Break this. Place a rail. Power the rail. Don't need the top blocks. And then we use signs to get rid of the rest of the obsidian. And there is our slice portal. And I'll quickly go over the layers below again. So we just build our portal frame, light it, this, and it's the exact same process. We're just keeping the top portal instead of the bottom one this time. This, sorry, and then we just use signs to get rid of this. This portal layout is much easier to do, but I prefer the other one. But I mean, it's honestly personal preference. And I'll do a second one just for show. Light it. That. Power this. Break. Don't need the bottom bit. And then sign. And there we go. So once you're done with this layer, you should move the obsidian up. And you can break this obsidian right here. And this layer are identical, exact same process. I'll just do one portal. So, like this. Obviously, you probably finish the whole layer before moving on to the next layer. It's a lot easier. That. And signs on each side. Yep. And then we move this floor up and break this. Alright, so once you have done your portals, you can come over here and get ready to crash the server. So we'd click that light because we do not want it on auto mode, and flick the lever and we'll get server closed. Alright, let me reboot the server. Alright, now that the server's back up, you can see that chunks aren't loading. We'll need to spawn the bot and make him turn it off. And we should see that chunks start loading again. There we go, amazing. And we can turn that off now. And if we come over here, we can see that these portals are all light level 0. Nice. So now we'll be moving on to Skylight Suppression. Now for Skylight Suppression. Skylight Suppression can be a bit finicky and isn't always reliable. However, Andrew54757 found out a way to make it more reliable. So the Skylight engine works with subchunks, and to optimize it can mark subchunks as empty. And the goal of Skylight Suppression is to make the game think that there is a roof when there actually is no roof. So if a subchunk where the roof is meant to be is marked as empty, Skylight Suppression could fail, and it is not as reliable if you just break the roof while light suppressing. So what we can do instead is place a string in every subchunk where the roof is, and this can stop the game from marking it as empty because there is a string inside. meaning it won't update, making it more reliable. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and run the light suppressor, and when I'm ready to start, I will start recording again. Alright, so the light suppressor has been running for some time now, so we should be good to start skylight suppressing. So we should take a note of each chunk, so you should have your roof between 3 chunks. This means you'll need 9 string. So what we can do is just start breaking it and place a string somewhere within that chunk. So I'm just going to go ahead and use fast left click. Obviously you can just use Instamine. Just be careful that you don't break the string, and once you've broken that chunk you can move on to the next one, and just place a string there. Doesn't really matter as long as it's in the sub chunk. Break the rest of this. Usually this is pretty fast, and if it does fail you should be fine because those portals shouldn't get updated from Skylight. So that's this chunk. We'll move on to the next one. Now obviously you probably want to make the roof out of something that you can instamine, like netherrack, so it is a lot easier. Let's just do this chunk. And another important thing is do not place string directly over the witch spawning platforms, because that will slow your rates down. So don't place a string on top of the obsidian basically. Place it in one of the corners, so here there's no spawning platform, because that will raise the height map and get less spawns. Alright, so you can place string there and break everything, and string there, and last chunk, place string, and mine the rest of it. Alright, so once you've done all that, you should be good to crash the server. So let's turn on the update suppressor. There you go, and let's crash. Alright, I'll see you guys when the server reboots. Alright, now that the server has come back online, we need to stop the light suppressing. There we go, we can also turn that off. And chunks have reloaded. Now if we do that, we can see that this has 0 skylight, 0 block light with no roof. And that is how you do skylight suppression. And obviously just be very careful, don't break any of this string. If you do, obviously it has a chance to update, and yeah, it would be a pretty shame if this updated and you had to redo it. But yeah, that's how you do skylight suppression. Alright, so here we have a finished EOL witch farm. So all the portals are update and light suppressed, and as you can see we have 5 blocks of string along the top spawning platform. This allows pack spawning, which is only spawning packs of 1, but if the game chooses a witch to spawn here, it could spawn anywhere within a 5x5 area. So we just have this. You could use slabs or anything that isn't spawnable. So in this case I've used string because it's pretty much invisible and looks cool. And you can also see the string that up here that I've used for light suppression. So yep, here is one of them, and over on the other side we have the second one. So these have been up for a couple days now on the server, and they've held well so far, and the farm runs pretty fast. And I guess I can show you the killing system. So here we have TNT looting, and the witches come through this portal. So this is only one player is required for this farm to run. So the witches teleport to the nether, they wait 30 seconds before getting teleported back, and they teleport through this portal, which is update suppressed. They fall, hit this tripwire, which triggers this piston, which gives the player a piece of TNT. They place the TNT, and this arrow is in stasis right now because it's not being used, but The arrow comes out of stasis and it ignites the TNT because there's a lava bucket in here. And that arrow belongs to this skeleton who is holding a looting sword. So all the drops will be basically over doubled because we have looting 3. So the TNT would then drop down, land in this water, and the witches would be standing here on top of this soul sand, and they'd be blown up. And then we have 2 item filters here just for redstone dust because that's all we really care about. Everything else just burns. And we also have a looting mode if you're lazy and you don't want to set up the TNT. And there's also full damage, which is currently in right now, so the witch is just full damage. And I guess I can show you the Nether Side as well. So if we fly up to the Nether portal up here, I can show you the side. So down here, if we fly down, you can see these 2 Nether portals. These are just on a clock, so every 30 seconds this portal will get ignited and this portal will get basically shattered. There's lava in here, so this observer moves back and forth, igniting and destroying the portals. So the witches would come through here, and then after 30 seconds this portal would break, this one would ignite, and then witches would only come up here, and then after 30 seconds again this would reignite and the witches would go through this portal and then go to the killing chamber. So this is the alternative to having a conveyor, and the only downside is it actually uses flint and steel, but it only uses any, so you should be good. So that is what I have set up on the server. Hope you guys have found this video useful. If you have, please subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.